so excited to have you today at our October Town Hall. So what we are doing during this event is we want to spend a little bit of time talking about all of the cool stuff that we've done at Heartbeat over the last month, what we've got coming out over the next couple months, and then finally leaving the floor open just for any feedback, any requests, things that you really want us to keep our eye on as we continue building and scaling this into the absolute best community platform in the world. So before we kick off, first thing I just want to say is thank you so much to everybody for showing up live, for being here, for giving us an hour of your time to help make sure that we're really building in the right direction. I genuinely cannot thank you guys enough. And when I say that we really want to hear your feedback, we really want to understand how we can continue growing and improving this product, I really mean it. We have 100% deviated our product roadmap based off of the feedback that comes in during these calls. I remember there was one time where we actually took a whole 3-month detour on our product roadmap because you guys made a really good case for us building out improved features. If I remember correctly, it was courses that we spent a lot of time on and ended up being 101% the right move to do. So please, 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 any feedback that you have, share it. We have multiple people keeping an eye on the chat. And so anything that you guys drop in there, we're going to take a look at. What we'll do is we'll try to address some of the questions that pop in line as we're talking through stuff. But if there's any big things, we might pull it later to the end. So please don't be offended. We might pull it to the last 50 minutes. That way we can actually spend a good 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes talking about it. So again, thank you guys to everyone for showing up. Just going through the run of show before I actually hand this thing off and we get started is we are going to start off by talking about all of the cool things that got done at Heartbeat over the last month. We'll talk about each team, product, support, and growth, and how we've been moving the needle. From there, we're going to talk about what we've got coming down over the next month, next couple months, and then finally, we'll leave the last 15 minutes open just to answer any questions from the floor and respond to feature requests, make sure that we're keeping our eye on the right things. Looks like we got a lot of folks live in Riverside, coming in from YouTube, from LinkedIn. If you see a chat on YouTube, if you see the chat on LinkedIn, drop in your stuff there, and it should come to our Riverside chat. If you're in Riverside, obviously drop it into the chat. You can just click the little chat bubble in the bottom right corner of your screen, and then see the chat on the right side. Drop in anything there that you're thinking, and we'll definitely respond to as much as we can during this call. And then if you're in Riverside too, we can also pull you up on stage. We can allow you to jump on and ask questions on audio or video if you want to as well. So feel free to call that out if you want to jump on stage too. Amazing. Okay, we've got people from all over the world. We've got North Carolina, Colorado, San Diego, Canada. It looks like we had some people in Belfast, Belgrade, all over the place. So excited to kick this thing off. What we're going to do is we're going to first start off with what we did over the last month, and we're going to talk about that, starting off with product. Nick Mayhole, I don't know who it is, but do one of you guys want to take it away?
Happy to take it away. So I'll share my screen here. Yeah, we are very excited to share bullet point 1 here of what we did last month. You notice a new face on the screen on our little grid here. We onboarded and hired Andre, our founding product designer. And I'm glad that y'all all will have a chance to say hi to him today and welcome him to the team. I'm going to give him a chance to introduce himself in a moment, but we are just so ecstatic to have somebody owning the design experience, not just from what you see, but how you experience Heartbeat moving forward. It has been a pleasure already onboarding him. He's taken on a massive project already that y'all will see demoed later today. And while we're demoing it, just remember that the mastermind behind the designs is all Andre. So Andre, take it away. Let's introduce yourself to our party community.
Oh, Andre, I think you're still muted.
Classic.
Yeah. Classic.
Oh, I definitely clicked that, but okay. My name is Andre. I'll be, as Nick said, handling everything design and experience at Heartbeat. The goal is to make Heartbeat even better for everyone here, and if you have any thoughts on how we can do that and achieve that, feel free to share them, and I'll make sure that I can include as much as possible within reason, of course. But I look forward to serving everyone, and yeah.
And then one question, Andre, how did you hear about Heartbeat?
So I actually have been a user of Heartbeat for the past 2 years when they did a lifetime thing on AppSumo. So I got it and also convinced my girlfriend to buy it as well, and we've both been users ever since.
Yeah, +1 for promoting from customer to team member. We do that a lot here.
Yeah, that's always my biggest brag is like, oh my gosh, we got customers that want to join the team. That's so hype.
Yeah, we love promoting customer to team member, and we hope to continue doing it as we grow our other teams. Yeah, lovely to have you on board, Andre. And we did also do some other like non-hiring work on the product team this past month. One of them we'll talk about a little bit later. But the last two bullets here, we did hear your thoughts and feedback around the event details page. I think I got a little excited with all of the data and metrics that we can share with you on the new events update. And we may have provided a little bit too many numbers and also confusing terminology tied to those numbers. So we've simplified that a ton and are continuing to make improvements here. And one of Andre's tasks coming on board is to audit the other places where we might be having like confusing terminology, confusing UX or design. And we'll be continuing to make improvements across the platform there. And then with our last bullet, I'm actually going to let Mehul just talk more about what he worked on with faster event loading.
Yeah, like we mentioned last town hall, we have a lot of users now. A lot of y'all have big communities and more people joining. And so we had to do work on our end to make sure that our servers are able to stand up to all of that load. And so we've been kind of going down where are the kind of biggest place in the product where we have optimizations that we could make to make sure that everything stays snappy. And one of the biggest improvements that we identified was that, especially for larger communities, when we were loading up events, we'd be loading all your events, and then all of your events would have all of their attendees and your RSVPs and meeting data and all of that. And we're like, that's way too much. Let's kind of piece it out a little bit so that you can quickly get to your events and then get the rest of your data over time. And so, especially for those of you with a lot of events, with a lot of users, you should see your events tab load a lot faster now.
Awesome. Well, if there aren't any questions in the chat, I think we can move on to our next section here. All right, Mike, take it away.
All righty. Keep on the screen share for me, Nick. So celebrating milestones, I love to bring in a chart whenever I can because data is pretty. Want to give you guys this view that Connect gross volume is the money that Heartbeat admins are earning. This is the cash flowing through your community. And this is showing us that basically from the beginning, this is the growth curve that we've had. And by the way, this is not leveling off. We're just not done with 2025 yet. I want to specify that. So you guys got enough time to make this thing fully hockey stick and keep going. And I have no reason to think you aren't because you've reached 14.9 million in total revenue across all communities. Every time I bring this update to you guys, I'm like, I need to double check the math. I think this number is growing too fast, but no, it's just you guys being awesome. So straight up, this was like 14.5 last month when we did this. So you guys are continuing to add a ton of personal income that you're flowing through Heartbeat. Really proud of you guys. Really well done. And to that end, Nick, scroll down. We've got 32 communities now that have crossed the 100K threshold. So congrats to the latest addition. By the way, the last town hall was like partway through the last month, and we're here right at the beginning. So basically in the last 2.5 weeks, you've added almost 500,000, and one other community's joined the 100K threshold, and one additional community has joined the 250K club. So you guys are just, I can update these every 2 weeks and the numbers are new. So congrats, applause to you guys for growing your communities and doing all the amazing things. Celebration to you guys for the milestone.
Mike, right. I was actually just checking, and last month was our best month of payment processing volume ever. And even this year, if we're looking at the numbers and that's been transacted, it's more than our previous all-time put together. So we've done better this year than we did in 2024 and every other year prior combined.
If you add them up. Yeah, guys, seriously, this is what compound success looks like. Like when you're compounding what you're doing. You're not a fluke. You're not a fluke. You've got a growing group of peers that are helping you do this. So congrats, everybody. Yeah, so other than these amazing milestones, we also have been working on some projects on the growth side. So we're continuing to scale up Google and Meta ads. That's still a major channel of reaching new prospective community builders for us. And as we continue to grow that channel, continue to reach new people and more folks are coming in. Noteworthy here, we're actually seeing a larger share of the community of these builders that we're reaching through ads move forward with actually building durable communities beyond their trial. And it's really interesting to see that the folks that we're reaching are buying in and committing at a higher rate. I think there's a whole lot of momentum out there in the world of people who want to take that vision for a community business and make it real. So really excited to see this new cohort of people doing that. We also put a huge investment of time into data. And this is the stuff that it makes me and my heart sing and my math-loving reality glow. But it's really just meant for what it can do for everybody else. So we're trying to get really accurate on the attribution of where our new peers are coming from in the community builders. We want to have really clear data in our single source of truth, which is our CRM, mostly because that lets us go more to the places where everybody is coming from, where they're succeeding. And we just want to spend our time where you guys are. And additionally, we're also looking at analyzing success predictors. So I spent a lot of time looking at what are the things that seem to make a community do well, and what are the early indicators before they've done well that means they're pretty much destined to do well. And really interesting trends are coming out of this. We're seeing things like early monetization. Monetizing sooner in your journey is an indication of continuous revenue growth over time of being on Heartbeat, and a lot of other really cool trends around retention, i.e. not quitting, when people reach certain milestones early on. And so we're really now indexing on empowering you guys to reach those milestones to set you up for as much success as possible. So really excited for what we've done on this side. Let's see, next section there, Nick. Also, I'm going to check in the chat here. So close to 15 mil. Yeah, so close. Guys, do a couple more offers and we'll be there. So close.
If anybody wants to do a quick launch today and just bump that number up, that'd be great.
Yeah, real quick, just push one wait list. Just push one wait list to live, and we're good, and we're there.
Amazing. All right, are we jumping in the next section, Mike?
Yeah, let's jump into support. Let's do that.
Cool. I'll take over there. So, a lot of big updates on the support side of things. One of the biggest updates is we brought on a new team member on the support side of things. We are super, super excited to bring on Danny. Danny, if you want to join on, turn on your video. Someone's got to invite Danny up. All right.
In process.
We're
attempting to do a cool thing.
As Danny does this, and we test out this feature for the first time, because we haven't really done too much pulling people out of the audience. What Danny's coming on to do is really help us scale up the support team. And what I'm so excited about is Danny has like a really great like technical background as well too that they're bringing to the role to help make sure that we are actually addressing some of the hairier, stickier support questions and doing that at a faster and faster pace. Were we successful in bringing Danny on?
Hello?
There we are. We can hear your voice. We just
Hi.
can't see your face.
Yeah, I have no idea why the camera is not working.
It's fine.
We're trying.
But yeah, Danny, if you want to take a second and just introduce yourself, a little bit about your background and where in the world you're joining us from.
Yeah, so I'm Danny. I'm joining from Colombia. I'm located in Medellin. I have about 5 years in support. Most of those have been in software support. And I have some technical background in troubleshooting, browser issues, a little bit of coding development, and I'm just really excited to be here joining this company. And I'm happy to see that someone in the chat has already seen me answering some tickets.
Yeah, Danny is wild. Danny is being very humble right now, but usually it takes us like, a couple weeks to get people onto like actually answering support tickets and helping people out. Danny, I think you got started within 3 days.
I think it was my second day.
Second day, light speed. Already a 33% improvement. But yeah, Danny's incredible. So we're super, super excited to have them on the team. And as we just continue building and growing out the support team, we're just hoping to bring on more rock stars like Danny to make sure that we can get back to you, answer the questions that you have, and really dig into what are the things that are going to help you grow and scale your business at Lightspeed. Awesome. Thank you, Danny, for jumping on and turning on your audio there. A couple more things that are we worked on from the support side of things was just improving the tooling and especially the analytics around how we are tracking issues, trends, and escalations. One of the things that we want to get really, really good at is if 3 different people get support tickets coming in that say having an issue on mobile, it can get difficult to track those trends and understand, now that we have a distributed support team, when are issues actually arising. Because usually, if 3 or 4 tickets about the same thing come up in a time span of like, let's say an hour, it means, hey, we need to look at this thing. But if it's distributed across 3 different people, it gets hard to do that. So we've upgraded some of our support systems using some really powerful AI analytics tools to make sure that we're able to understand and figure out when issues are popping up. Even more so, what we want to do is understand, when are different trends coming up? When are people having issues with monetization? When are people having issues with groups, with courses? What are the larger trends that are emerging as you unlock more and more success in your business that we can go forth and solve more aggressively? And especially as we grow the support side of things, and as we grow our engineering team and rapidly increase our capacity to knock out feature requests, knock out bugs and issues that come up, we want to make sure that we're getting really, really good at diagnosing the trends and what's popping up so that we can funnel those over to the engineering side. So really, really excited to share all that. But yeah, lots and lots of big improvements coming down the support pipeline.
All right, I'll jump in for the community section. So over in our customer community, the Hearth, we have had a lot of awesome events going on and content. I do want to remind you all that we are on YouTube, and in the Hearth, you can get in there to catch a lot of awesome content. We have replays on every aspect of not just how to use Heartbeat, but how to grow a business using Heartbeat. Highly suggest, if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube, because we do go live there. We are live there right now. And also follow us on LinkedIn, just as a secondary social plug, that we also stream live out there. Recently, on September 10th, we had Bree Lever back again. She's a fan favorite, and she hosted us a session on how to hire a community manager. It began with being able to determine when you're ready to hire, and then when you are ready, how to go about doing that. A really powerful session. If you're ever thinking like, oh, if I want to go fast, go alone, and go far, go together, that was the premise of the conversation is, hey, when is it ready for me to go further, to take this business further and bring in a little bit of help? And then recently, although this is technically not last month, but close enough to make no difference, I co-hosted my own tutorial yesterday. So we did a session on how to get leads for $2 using Facebook ads, where I showed the system that I'm using for my real community to generate leads on Meta, which is Facebook, Instagram, Threads, for $2 per lead, and then convert them using an email funnel. If you didn't catch it, go over to the YouTube channel, subscribe and watch it there. Get in the Hearth, watch the replay there. Really great playbook. A lot of folks were super engaged. It was actually one of the highest RSVP sessions we've had to date, which I am humbled by. Thank you guys so much for willing to show up and listen to just a team member talk about something nerdy for a minute. And also thanks to, I think it was about 100 folks when you look at all the channels together who were showing up live. We had folks 3 a.m. in Australia watching this thing live. So thank you guys for showing up and listening to me talk about my passion, which is marketing stuff, to help you guys grow and get more members in your community. One of my favorite things to have talked about. Really glad to have a really awesome session there. Also, as a reminder,
just to hype Mike up, by the way, too, you guys should definitely check out the recording. Mike is an absolute wizard when it comes to ads. We've actually spent like the last week digging really deep into the analytics, the numbers behind why we do what we do, and even how Mike like takes advantage of the existing systems within like Google and Meta. I mean, there are like levels and layers to which his thinking is like gone so deep on the numbers side of things. So I promise you, if you're watching that video, like you are learning ads from an expert. Like I have been blown away with what Mike has been able to accomplish on the ad side of things. So like highly recommend checking out that video.
Oh shucks. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. And honestly, I tried to make it very accessible. I held myself back in many a times from going down a lot of rabbit holes, which is why people were asking for follow-up sessions. So we shall see. I think this is going to be an interesting collection of knowledge to help you guys use paid distribution to get more members in your community. So stay tuned for more of that to come. And of course, a friendly reminder on interest groups that if you haven't joined them, you're not seeing the channels and the events in the Hearth calendar. We have an interest group about courses, and we have an interest group about automations. They have office hours, different schedules for each one, but also a great place to get time with an expert about those topics. So go check it out. If you want to do more about courses, check out Patrick Nairn. If you want to do more about automation, whether that's native workflows or advanced stuff beyond the platform, Misty Dorman is your expert. And those interest groups can be joined from within the Hearth or at the bottom of my newsletter updates. I put links there too. Awesome. Thank you so much. Always fun to listen to me. I really appreciate that. Awesome. All right. Let's see. We have next the future. The next is the future is now. Actually, is what it is. The future is now.
Yes.
Nick, take it away.
So I'll take it. I'll take it away for you. Also, fellow Mike and Ike here can second and third everybody saying how much they love nerding out with him. Loved that session.
Thank you.
Also coining Mike and Ike as your fan base army. So if this is your first time here, this second half of what we do here on Town Halls is telling you what we're going to be working on over the next month. So just like we just talked about what we did, now it's time to talk about what we're doing, and you can hold us accountable next month in the next Town Hall. So first, from the product side, we do have a bit of a fun little secret that we've been keeping, and Mike has alluded to in his videos, and it's time to do that demo.
It's not clickbait when you deliver.
Yeah, I promise it's time now. We made you wait 23 minutes, so it's time we get there.
For anybody that's on
today-
their AirPods and like walking around the kitchen, you should definitely like tune back into your video. This is the time.
Oh yeah, because today we are unveiling something that's going to change the way you build and run your communities on Heartbeat. I even saw Marcus talking about it in the chat. For the past few months, we've been working on hiring new folks onto our team, Andre, Danny, but we've also been working on building a teammate to join yours. And I'm going to give you a preview of what that is right now. I'm sorry if there's no sound.
You have to.
That's right, y'all. Pretty soon, y'all get to meet Pulse, your AI community builder that combines community building best practices from what we've learned from over 7,000 communities on Heartbeat with its knowledge of the Heartbeat platform to guide you in building a sustainable community business. Pulse is like having an expert community manager by your side, like a Bree Lever, like a Laura Zug. It can help you build your community from scratch in minutes, create courses, events, documents, content tailored for your members. Seeing a ton of love in the chat. It can help you manage and update your community automatically, and it'll help you troubleshoot challenges if you ever find those within your community so that they don't slow you down. All while weaving in the playbooks, the insights, the recipes that we've learned from thousands of thriving communities. So I'm going to give you all a demo. Hopefully this goes better than Mark Zuckerberg's demo a few days ago, if y'all have seen that. He was demoing AI, and it went so great. But, you know, we're better, so let's see. Taking you to my community here, we have Barnyard Banter. It's a community of animals on a farm, and they're just trying to live their lives. They don't have much money to their name, but they're doing their best. We got Dottie the hen, we got Maisie the cow, and of course, Boris the goat. And you might notice a new player has entered the arena here in the top right. And if I click this right here, we open up Pulse, my collaborator. So let's build some content out in this community. Every community needs a goat, 100% agree. Let's start with creating a course for my community members in the Barnyard Banter. Let's tell Pulse, let's create a course on making the perfect farm style burger. Let's make that soy. We don't want to anger the barn animal members. And Pulse will come back to us with a response. Pulse is trained on the Heartbeat platform very deeply. Pulse knows every single constraint, every single limitation, every single feature that it can leverage. and it combines that with the best practices of building and creating from scratch on Heartbeat. So it asks, what type of course is better for our making the perfect burger? Let's do an evergreen course. I don't need folks to be in a cohort for this. And she will think, should it be a free course for your community or paid? Well, I did mention that my farm animals don't have much money to their name, but let's just charge them a few bucks. Let's charge $5. And so what Pulse is going to do is it's not just going to create this course. It's also going to say, what else needs to be created for this course to work? Well, I need to create an offer with the one-time payment for $5. And whenever somebody creates an offer, we know that you also need to create a sign-up page. So it's going to proactively help you throughout the creation process and make sure that it's anticipating your needs. As much as possible in my prompting, I made sure it understood the Heartbeat values of don't forget the fries that I didn't ask for, which is a classic SNL skit that we live by because we always want to be proactively attending to your needs, and our agents should do the same. So we can see it do a few tool calls. It's looking at my community, trying to understand the context in which it's working with, and it gives me an action. Should I create the farm soy burger course? Now, the reason why we don't automatically create this for you is we don't want to create all these, big changes in your community without you expressly understanding what's happening. So there will be a lot of transparency at every step here. You'll even be able to audit its tool calls and what it's finding from those tool calls. And anytime we're referencing content that's existing in your community, you could easily link out to it and view it. We want to make sure that you're auditing the bot experience, that you trust it every step of the way. Okay, so let's go ahead and create it. Cool, done. And let me just go to my courses. Oh, it looks like I had one from testing earlier, but here's the new one right here. And it's created my course, Making the Perfect Farm Style Soy Burger. Awesome. And let me just now ask it to, let's say we want a channel created for this community as well. And since I just made a soy burger course, maybe we should make a channel for sharing recipes. So let's go ahead and ask Pulse. Now, let's create a channel to share recipes. So Pulse is thinking, well, what channels work best for recipe sharing? Is it a chat channel? Is it a thread-based channel? Let me maybe ask the user. So it says, what type of channel? A thread channel? A chat channel? Oh, look, it's like I trained her. And then let's tell her thread. And now she will go ahead and build an action plan, just like before, where she'll compile the, oh, look, she actually has one more question for us. Should it be open to, oh, that's a good question, actually. Should it be open to everybody or limited to specific groups in my community? Just thinking of things that I wouldn't. Let's make it public for the whole community. And now she will probably go ahead and create my channel for me. So she's thinking and creating your channel. And now I'll go ahead and click confirm. And we see we have that recipe sharing channel on the left with nothing created yet and ready for folks to engage in. And we'll just confirm that it is not a private channel. So she did the configuration right too. Awesome. All right, y'all. So let's just do one more demo for you before I open up to any questions you have. So I'll open up my chat panel again, and let's create an event, because what is a course on learning how to cook without a big cookout, right? So let's create a big cookout event that will be hosted in the barn for all my members. So now they're going to think within the context of all the things we already created. We created a course, and Pulse knows every single thing that we just did. It's going to now create a cookout. So when do we want to host the cookout? I don't know. Let's give them some time to learn. I don't want to be eating really nasty burgers. So let's say on Halloween at noon. And Pulse will know when Halloween is. Everybody knows when Halloween is. It's October 29th, right? All right, so she's thinking, and she will give me my action plan shortly. She might ask a few more questions first because creating an event requires a bit more context than just creating a channel. Oh, she ran into a technical issue. Actually, this is a great way for me to demo something else here. If Pulse ever runs into technical issues, first of all, we monitor the error reports that come in. So we'll be able to understand what happens from the back end and immediately fix it. But I've also told Pulse that if you ever run into issues, you can still help our community admin. Just tell them all the things you're about to do and guide them through it on the platform. So that's what Pulse does here. It says, why don't you go to your events channel and fill in all these details, and I'll walk you through the process. So that's a high level demo. I'm just super excited to get this in your hands as quickly as possible. And David, to be honest, I have trouble with knowing whether to call agents she, he, it, they, them. I don't know. I've been kind of going back and forth. Maybe you have a philosophical blog or article I could read on it. I'd be very curious. Okay, great. Yeah, any questions in the chat, Mike, that I can answer?
Chat's dead quiet. No questions.
No, none at all. They're just completely unenthused. No, when pulse, Nick, when can pulse? Yes.
When pulse.
Or when beta. When beta is the other question.
Mehul, how about you share our timeline here? Oh no, I'm not hearing you, Mehul.
Yeah, you're muted.
There we go. Thank you. Honestly, when we started working on this, we really had no idea kind of how it was going to turn out. But our initial testing, and I'll be honest, we did not have this ready until an hour before this demo. So we are kind of showing this to you as we're going through it. We're not waiting to get this out. So we're working as fast as we can, and you're seeing the progress as we go. Things have been going really well. It's working well. There's still a lot of improvements that we want to make, and we want to make sure that when we give it out to you, it doesn't have to be perfect. We want to have you guys be testing partners, but we also need to make sure that we have everything in place that we can at least monitor and have it pass that initial bar. All to say, I think we're going to be in a place where we can put this in beta this month, and so that's our current goal of make some more improvements, get some more monitoring in place, and then have y'all start playing with it by the end of the month.
Awesome. Oh, thanks, Tom. Get the out of here. Got it.
My favorite response. We do have a bunch of other questions about Pulse specifically. One I do want to call out. So Tamara asked, why did you name it Pulse? I don't know.
Actually, Andre
wants
why
to speak
don't
this.
you,
Yeah.
Why don't you share your thoughts around the naming here? I'm not hearing you yet. It's okay. I do have your reasoning in my head if you can't get it to work.
That's also an AI integration between you and Andre, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I did a tool call.
Okay, there we go.
There he is.
I was clicking the mute on my video, not the bottom bar. Anyway, so me and Nick were talking, and I came up with the idea of Pulse because the platform is called Heartbeat. Heartbeat, we have a pulse, and so the goal is for Pulse to keep a pulse on your community and help you grow. It's to help you keep a healthy heartbeat, and also if you have a pulse, it means your community is alive and not dead. And so we wanted to call it Pulse to kind of play off the name, but also add a little bit of personality, humor into the naming.
Oh, we've got love for that. Yeah.
A lot of love. One thing I'll call out too around that is when we were also building and thinking through a lot of this, one of the things that we talked about was, what is it like to have a product expert and a growth expert on your shoulder helping you actually build and grow this community. And we went further than that. We said, what is it like to have a Nick on your shoulder? What is it like to have a Mike on your shoulder as you're actually building and growing this thing? And so that's part of this too, is we want to make sure that it feels really in tune with what your community has done so far, what's working, what's not working, and suggests thoughtful, context-aware advice rather than just throwing, a list of best practices at you and saying good luck. Like, we talked about the numbers in terms of payment processing and revenue and volume, but that's what we index off of. We're not doing our job unless your business is growing and scaling. And that means that if we're going to help you build a business, we also have to understand where the business is at right now, where you're going, and how we can actually help you grow and drive it in that direction. And that's the other reason why I love the name Pulse, is it speaks so much to how we want to be deeply ingrained into helping your business grow and succeed, and keeping track of what are the wins that we can continually help you hit as you grow and scale this business. Awesome. With that, I want to shift over to another question, which was from Marcus. Does Pulse work with credits or what? How are we thinking about this from the get-go?
So in terms of like when y'all get your hands on it, I'm sure we will figure out some sort of system there. To be completely transparent, we haven't gotten that far. We want to focus on like the true value here and make sure that like the value is really strong before we think about like the monetization model around it. But yeah, that's kind of our transparent answers. We've been so in the weeds on like building this and making it super awesome that we haven't fully thought through like the pricing.
And generally, I will say that's kind of how we think about things at Heartbeat, is we're just going to build you the best damn product we possibly can to drive your business forward. And we're pretty sure that it's going to help us from a business perspective as well, too. Usually it does. We've been mostly correct over the last 4 years. So that is the way that we think about things. Next question was from Patrick, which I love this question. Nick, can Pulse be used to create an entire community from scratch?
Wonderful question. That's the goal, right? We want people to be able to join Heartbeat for the first time and create their entire community from scratch to launch using Pulse. And the idea is you used Pulse to create it from scratch, and you'll also use Pulse to manage it, to help it grow, to evolve it when you change from one business model to the next, to help you troubleshoot any access issues for your members. It will keep tabs on your community's growth and the activity happening, and give you recommendations on how to further improve your community, create new channels, create new courses based on engagement. The idea here is from end to end, you have the Pulse on your side to help you build and grow your community. So yes, short, long answer short.
Oh, we have so
Amazing.
many reactions bubbling up here. I can see all the claps and hearts coming in. Thank you guys for throwing that in.
Tons and tons of love. I love to see it. This one I'm actually curious about. Charlotte asked, does Pulse understand other languages than English?
That is a great question. I think the answer is going to be yes, but we'll be sure to give you access, Charlotte, and you can let us know. And if not, I do think that we're building on top of the technology that's powering ChatGPT and Claude, and I do know that those have a lot of multilingual support. And so if you're able to chat with ChatGPT right now successfully, then I do expect that to transfer over to this technology.
Amazing. Okay. And then one more question was, can it give advice without creating?
Sure can. Yeah. So the idea here is that when it's fully built out, you'll be able to switch between like brainstorming and helping get like plans and ideas across, and then actually taking action. And the primary goal is to be able to smoothly switch from idea stage, planning stage, to actual action. So the agent will help prompt you toward action, and you will also always have the consent, the end consent there. We will never have the Pulse take actions without you clicking that confirm button, or you'll always have to say to proceed before it does.
Cool. Next one that popped up was, and I think this one has come up in a couple different areas, but is this going to be only available to admins? Are we thinking about like a user-facing version of this, like dealing with like client access? How are we thinking about who can use Pulse?
Yeah, so currently we're thinking about this as an admin tool. We want to start by putting the tool in your hands and seeing how much leverage we can help you build in your community, because the idea here is like the more we can help you offload a lot of the admin tasks, the more time you have to focus on the actual engagement in your community, the human to human engagement. Of course, there are like so many ideas swarming in my head, as you can expect, of like how agents can play a role in like the end user experience. But right now, what we're really focusing on is your experience as an admin and getting you access to this first, and seeing how it transforms the way you engage in your community with your members.
And then one more question that popped in, and I'm calling this out because it came up twice, both from Patrick and I think Marcus earlier, which was, is this something that we're thinking of using on the content moderation side of things, or is it purely just for like the admin management side of things?
I could totally see that as a functionality in the future. Me and Mehul were talking about this, like the Pulse is going to essentially have its own roadmap. There's just like so much that it's going to possibly do that we're going to have to like hyper prioritize what it does first. And so first we're focusing on creating and managing and updating content. And then next we can focus on like more of like the community engagement tools that it can help you with.
No, I love that, because I think, to do anything well, it requires focus, and focus is all about saying no. It's saying, what are the areas that we really want to spend our time improving and getting better at? And what are the things that we're saying, hey, we're okay with letting this fall to the wayside so we can get really good at A, B, C, and D. And so the way that we're really thinking about it is, how are we building something that really does help you build and grow and scale this community from the get-go? And what are the most immediate ways that we can provide you leverage as a community builder, as a business owner, and make sure that you're growing your membership as efficiently, as successfully as possible. And that's really like what our North Star is as we get started with Pulse. All right. Now, just a couple more that I want to call out, which was one from Nicole. Can you add graphics and videos into Pulse so Pulse can put it into banners, etc.?
Love that. That's another thing that we do want to support, is like file uploads and even potentially image generation. I can't say that that will be available in like beta, but it is something that we are looking to support.
Cool. And then we had a couple other questions that came in about things like pricing. So I know Nicole asked, so this won't be included in our current memberships with a question mark. Sean asked, how will this impact, Sumo Links, folks from AppSumo? This is a really good question. So the short answer is, we have no idea how the costs on this thing are going to scale. And it's something that we're still working through and fine tuning. What we know is, at the get-go, to make this a really good product, we need to put it in your hands, and we need to give you guys a chance to like actually use it, battle test it, and make sure that Pulse is actually driving a difference in your community creation, in your building. And if it's not, then it's just like, hey, either we need to get it to that point, or we need to figure out how to improve it. So that's going to be probably the next stage. Is you guys are definitely going to be able to get access to like kick the tires, play around with it, use it to actually build and grow your communities. So we do want to put it in your hands as quickly as we possibly can. From there, we're probably going to get a much better understanding of, what are the costs of running this thing? How much does it cost in, the credits that we're using, things like that. And that's going to help us understand, okay, from a plan perspective, how do we layer this on? And what we're balancing is, of course, like we need to pay the bills and keep the lights on. But at the same time, at the earliest stages, when you are first building out a membership, when you're first building out a business, Pulse is a tool that is incredibly powerful at helping you, get signal from the noise and figuring out what are the things that I should be spending my time on, and how am I just, spending my time on working with customers and not being sucked into, I have to read this help article and this help article and watch this video and watch that video, right? So we do understand that one of the biggest areas that we can, use Pulse to provide leverage for you is going to be in the earliest stages as you're still building. So that's kind of the things that we're balancing. Is we don't really know what the cost, we don't know what it's going to look like fully ramped, and we also recognize that this is going to be so helpful in the early days. And so we want to balance those two and make sure that we can provide it to you as early as possible in your journey. But short answer is, we're still thinking about it and we're still figuring it out. Okay, I think that has answered all of the questions so far around Pulse. Sean asked a similar question about AppSumo links. The short answer is, like I said, I don't know, but you're probably going to get access to it sooner rather than later, and then we'll figure out exactly how we want to build this in from a plan perspective. Cool. Okay, I think we've hit all the questions. Is there anything that I missed there, Mike, Nick, as I'm talking through stuff?
Just a small a question here that somebody's using Intercom for support and wanted to add an AI bot into the community. Do you think Pulse will at some point be able to deal with client support?
Yeah, I think like along the same lines of like member facing agents, it's something that is definitely on our like brainstorming post-it board right now, but is not necessarily roadmapped immediately because what we're focusing on in the immediate term is like admin facing agent work where we can help you build and create in your community. So that's kind of like first and foremost, and we will definitely be like considering the user facing agents in the future. And I have no doubt that's going to be like in conversations.
This is like the building the first piece is the visionary, groundbreaking part, and then from there it's just listening as we always have, and just continuing to add more functionality.
Awesome. And then we had a couple other questions that popped in around just like plans and things like that. We'll address some of that stuff as we get to the end, because I want to leave some of the stuff for, well, I guess the last 15 minutes, which we're already in. But let's run through some of the growth updates and support updates, and then we'll get back to those questions.
All right, guys, that was my nonverbal cue to keep it quick. So we've got a update from the growth team. What's coming up this month is that we are going to be adding 2 new team members to my team. So the growth team is growing. It is a meta update of sorts. So we have 2 marketing leads that will be coming in. One will be focusing on partnerships and influencers, because those are going to be major channels that we want to emphasize more successfully and in depth than we have been so far. And we are going to be adding someone to specialize in content and product marketing, because we know that really great content helps you guys learn and succeed, and making sure that when we build great things in the product, you all know about it, know how to use it, and are not in the dark about all the things that as we keep adding more and more to the queue. We're also looking forward to an affiliate program refresh. Details on this to come, but we're thinking about revisiting our reward structures, bounties, and creating a dedicated newsletter so that we can keep affiliates empowered to do what they do best, which is help us spread the word and earn while doing it. We're also looking at expanding into influencer partnerships. So we're talking about collabs, brand deals, and sponsorships here. Folks, things that we have not done a ton of to date, but we have done in a couple of areas, and it has been very positive. And we know that, honestly, the people in our orbit who know what it takes to reach people that are building great things online are exactly the folks we want to partner with. And lastly, we're going to be ramping up content marketing. And specifically, this is going to be dedicated campaigns for all feature releases. So you will never once again find out we launched something 6 weeks ago and it's been there the whole time in your community. I want to make sure that goes away. We're also going to be having way more events in the Hearth. So in the future, we noticed we've been doing a couple events a month, but I'm really excited to be ramping up the frequency and just the scope of what we're covering, the scope and depth of the events that we're covering. So we can get into like maybe mini event series, like 2-3 events on the same topic that just go deeper and deeper when we don't have enough time to fit it all in just the 1 hour block. So 3 minutes. Nice. All right. Next section. Support. Mortis, are you going to grab that one?
Yeah, I can talk a little bit about this. So there's really like 2 big initiatives coming on the support side of things. One is really improving the self-service support side. Of course, we want to answer your questions. We want to get back to you as quickly as possible. But one of the best things that we can do just to empower you for success is making sure that the questions that you have are easily accessible, easy to answer, and even just like a quick search in 2 seconds, you can find the answer to the stuff that you need. And so we have some really big improvements coming to our help center, especially with bringing Danny on. We have a little bit more capacity so that we can take a more tactical approach to improving the article sections that we have, really looking into the support tickets that are coming in and being able to segment out areas and say like, hey, one of the most important areas that people struggle with early on is offers, groups, sign-up pages. Can we go really deep and build out way more improved guides, articles, and recipes to help you understand how to use this effectively to grow your business? And most importantly, not just, hey, what do all the knobs and toggles on the page mean, but how do you actually grow different business models using it, right? Like how do you get great business outcomes from the features that Heartbeat has? So we're going to be improving a lot of that within our help center over the next couple months, and then also improving bot responses alongside that. The bot works off of the help center, and so anything that we improve in the help center tends to roll up into the bot, just so that, again, we can help you with more and more tactical support at a faster cadence than you having to wait for someone to get back to you. The second thing that we're getting better at is just getting faster at how we answer questions. So of course, with more self-service support, it reduces the volume of sort of the entry-level questions that come in of how do I make a course or how do I make an offer? And so then what we end up working on is some of the hairier questions of, hey, I've set up A, B, C, and D, but I'm running into friction over here. I'm running into this technical bug, or I'm running into this thing that doesn't make sense. So we want to get better coverage on different product areas. So basically having subject matter experts on the offers, on the groups, on the sign-up pages, so that when those questions come in, they're immediately routed to the right person who can answer your question quickly and get you back to building your business. We also are with bringing Danny on, we have better time zone coverage. Right now, it's actually been mostly like European coverage, but we're starting to scale across different time zones. So whenever you send in a support ticket, we can make sure that we answer it in a timely fashion. Cool. And with that covers everything on the support side of things. Let's run to community.
Yep. So as far as October so far, where we're looking at is you're here now with our town hall. Normally, these are not like the first 2 days of the month, but here we are, October event. Awesome. And we do have another session coming up about free community growth using someone else's audience, featuring Patrick Nairn. Really excited for this one because honestly, it's an underrated strategy, although I did just teach about paid strategy. Sometimes borrowing an audience or transferring the trust from an established audience is a really effective way to get some early traction. So if you want to learn about this strategy, join us October 22nd. It will be at 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Amazing. All right. With that, we are shifting into the last piece of our call, which is we want to hear your feedback and we want to address some of the questions that you guys have as well. Okay, so there was a lot of questions in here. The first one that actually popped in was from David, which was, please make the course experience cleaner, even a pop-out, which focuses on the actual material. David, I'd actually love to hear if you can drop in maybe some like quick bullet points of like what are some of the improvements that we could make that would clean up the course experience. That'd be helpful. Because I get where your head's at, but yeah, if you could just give us some like tactical bullet points of, hey, if you could clean up A, B, C, and D, this would like solve 90% of my concerns. Super, super helpful. We had a question from Sovereign, which was, FYI, the see all who is attending button has disappeared from desktop. The only way that you can see the names of who is attending. Mayhole, Nick, are you guys aware of this? Mayhole, you're muted.
And what Mayhole just said is, yes, we're aware of it.
Yes, we will be adding that back soon.
Lovely. Okay, great. Cool. Then next one was from Dasha, which is, I have two questions and one thing I'm worried about. I didn't touch the send blast button in the new in the event because I'm unsure of its purpose. Can you provide a brief explanation of what happens after I press it? All right, Nick, that's all on you, buddy.
Yeah. So fear not. When you click send blast, there's an additional pop-up window that comes up to ask you what you'd like to do next. So you can explore that without accidentally sending out a blast of emails. But the purpose of that feature is for anybody that is either attending, RSVP confirmed, awaiting RSVP, or declined, you can send them all for that event an email blast. And usually what folks use this for, there's so many use cases, but one example is if you have a ton of people you're still waiting on RSVPs for, you can send an email blast to them and say like, hey, we're still waiting on your RSVP. Are you going to be able to come or not? Or for those that are confirmed, you can send an email blast 5 minutes before the event with some updates around a location or an updates around something to prepare. It's really good for like very timely announcements that you have to make to people within a specific event. What it's also helpful for is after your event's over, we add an attended option to the email blast field, where you can send an email to only those that attended an event. And let's say you want to share your event recording that you may have not recorded on Zoom, so it's not attached to your event in Heartbeat. You can do that as well. So I encourage you to explore it. Clicking the email blast button will not send anything. It'll just allow you to explore all the toggles and options you have within that feature.
Amazing. Cool. Next question was, also the direct workflow into the editor of the event was gone. I can't create it when the event is in draft. Can you bring back that option? Is that just in the event creation process? Okay.
Yeah, so we removed it directly from the event creation process, and instead now on the event details page, it's at the bottom for you to create and manage any of the workflows on the event. So we can look into, like, we'll work with Andre on like a better user experience there. But for now, you can find it on the event details page.
Awesome. And then last thing Dasha mentioned was, I spotted that the draft event was visible for some users, but I don't know why. Any insight that we have there, Mehul, Nick, or we'll just have to look into that from the support ticket side of things?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that might be, but we can take a closer look if you want to send in a ticket.
Cool. So Dasha, if you don't mind sending in a just email with a little bit of this information, especially around who was able to view it, just support@heartbeat.chat, and we'll take a look and we'll be able to diagnose a little bit better. Awesome. Okay, cool. Marcus asked a great question, which was, I'd like to ask how Heartbeat will try to stay relevant and succeed now that AI is about to hit SaaS companies. And I think this question came before we did our amazing, super secret, cool demo. But I'll address it really quick anyways, because I think it's like a worthwhile question to ask. We look at it sort of from two angles, right? Is how are we thinking about AI at Heartbeat? And then two is, how are we being affected by the prevalence and the proliferation of all of these AI tools across SaaS in general? So the first one I think you got a really good understanding of, which is, hey, we want to make it so that it's so easy to build and scale up your business, and all you do is have to talk with, Pulse, and you can basically have a Nick and a Mike sitting on your shoulder, helping guide you on the product side of things, on the growth side of things, and ideally even pitching you ideas and helping you figure out how to take what you have and growing it and scaling it exponentially. We think that using some of these AI tools combined with the really powerful tech that our Heartbeat already has, we can really help you just build a better and faster growing business. And so that's kind of our goal. We think we can empower admins and help you do your job way more efficiently. On the just general market side of things, like what we're looking at is, I think there's a lot of really cool things being built by AI, and there's a lot of really not great things being built with AI. And one of the things that I kind of see more and more evidence of is just the sheer amount of AI slop content creation that has taken over all of the social media channels that we're all on. And I think that there's really going to be a need for people to want to go into more close-knit, curated, well-designed spaces where they can have conversations with other human beings. And that's what we're seeing, is markets always have a natural push and a pull. And as I see more and more people pushing like AI content onto folks in social media, folks are going to be pulled more and more into these closed private spaces where they know they're having conversations with real people. That's what you guys are building. You guys have been building those not just for the last 6 months, but for years, and you've become experts in doing it. And what we can do more than anything is empower you to do that at scale. So that's kind of how we're thinking about it. Awesome. If there's any other follow-up questions, feel free to drop that in. Anything I missed there? Cool. Renee asked a question. Will Pulse retain memory as the community grows, so when things are requested, it knows how to respond better, avoiding the overbuild? Nick is nodding his head yes, so the answer is yes. Awesome. Cool. Okay, so Kelly asked, I did a free trial, struggled with recording events, uploading courses, and connecting a community. I really hope that Pulse is able to help solve that in like a month, but totally understand it's a lot to take in. I replied to an email asking for help, wasn't able to connect with anyone. Awesome. Kelly, go ahead and reach out to support@heartbeat.chat, and we're going to make sure to get you, up to speed and make sure that all your questions are answered. And then we do also have people that can help you answer these questions around how to build and how to grow a little bit better. The experts page that I know was dropped into the chat a little bit earlier is really helpful at seeing all the different community consultants that we have talked to that we really respect in the space. So I'd highly recommend checking that out, reaching out to maybe like one or two folks there that you think fits the right vibe, and they all have websites there and things like that, so it's really easy to see that. Mike also dropped the partners page, so as you're building out larger functions of your business, definitely worth checking out the partners page too. Cool. Awesome. And then same thing, Kim, if you just don't mind just sending out the email to support@heartbeat.chat, that'd be super helpful. As I just saw your name come up, Heather Lynn Angel is on the call right now, and she's in the chat somewhere. She's also an amazing community coach to work with. So she showed up, so I'm gonna spam her name a little bit. I would definitely reach out to her. I think if you scroll up a little bit, you'll see she dropped her email in there. Heather's amazing, and she's helped so many great communities get started and get launched. Okay, let's continue scrolling down. I'm looking at the time, so I'm gonna run through things fast. I have a question about expiry date for offers. In the remove access to this offer after a set time period, it only gives the option to input a number of days, but my client runs courses that have a hard stop date no matter when her clients sign up. Mayhole Nick, any thoughts on shifting this to a set calendar date, or is that one thing that might take a little bit more time?
I think it's something we could look into, Neil.
Yeah, I mean, I think my other thinking there is that this could also potentially be solved by using like a kind of a workflow that runs on like basically on the day that you want to kick everyone off, you could run a workflow to basically remove them from the offer. We might not have all the tools you need to do that, but I think that's kind of the direction that we could set you up in. So we can take a closer look at that.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, super helpful. It looks like there's a couple other folks where that would be helpful as well too. James asked a question, any plans to go back on AppSumo? Appreciate the question. The honest answer is no plans. We did our AppSumo campaign about 3 years ago, and now it's two things. One is we want to focus on the amazing subscription customers that we brought on to really make sure that we're growing and scaling that side of the business. Like the honest answer to you is just from a business perspective, it makes a much more stable, fast-growing business. The other thing too is I find that especially on the subscription customer side of things, like we have to re-earn people's business every single month, right? Every time that credit card swipes, we have to re-earn their business. And from a like product enforcing function perspective, I really like the fact that we have to do that because it means we have to keep releasing great, amazing features that drive your business forward. Otherwise, we don't deserve to have your money. So that's kind of what we want to align the business around, both from like a philosophical standpoint and also just like good finances. David asked a question which was about kind of what's included in his plan. David, what I would say is go to your settings in the product. So settings and platform billing, and it's going to give you a full list of everything that's included in your plan. Florence asked just to put something on your radar, full list of guests who RSVP to an event isn't available on the website version. Cool. I think this is something that we addressed earlier, right, Mayhole Nick? Amazing. Okay, this is coming back in. We're very aware. From Charlotte, translations, please. We will take a look. It's a weirdly complex technical problem. I'm going to be super honest with you. We will take a look. I think a lot of the new AI tools that have come about are going to make this easier, but it is going to be something that we have to take a look at before we can go ahead. And I appreciate you asking it every town hall, Charlotte. We are going to get to it at some point, but let me come back to you when I have like a better timeline and a more realistic answer I can give you. Florence asked, I learned that home feed posts are not prioritized in chronological order. Yes, that is correct. So this is done in an algorithmic order. Basically, what we are doing is each post has a recency score and it has a heat score. The heat score is, the recency score is like when it was posted. The heat score is how much additional activity and comments have been left on this post. So if you are seeing an intros post in that feed from 6 months ago, the most likely answer that I can give you of why that resurfaced is because someone left a comment on that recently. Someone left a reaction on that recently. There was some new activity that happened on that post that bumped up the heat score. Because otherwise, like posts from 6 months ago should not be showing up. So that's the thing that I would keep in mind is like it sort of balances between heat and recency. We tried to keep that pretty simple, so it's like also like not super gameable. Like people aren't thinking about how they're like getting their posts up to the top all the time. We wanted to avoid overbuilding the algorithm like you see on existing social media platforms. David, I saw your note about screen being cluttered, and I'm assuming this is related to courses. We can take a look and figure out, hey, how can we make the courses experience even better and more streamlined? At this point, about 70% of communities on Heartbeat are using courses in some way, shape, or form. So we always want to push continual improvements and make sure that that's a really, really phenomenal experience. From Anita and Charlotte, would like to have courses and docs 3 across like it used to be. Yes. I know you guys have brought this up at a couple of town halls, and it's literally one of those things that as we've been working on bigger projects, it keeps falling through the cracks. We can take a look on the design side and just make sure this is not like a structural page-breaking change that we're making here, but a lot of people have asked. Lisa asked, will it be possible to add static end date to offers as it stands right now, number of days till expire? Okay, cool. Yeah, so we addressed that a little bit earlier. This might be possible through workflows, but we can take a look and see if this is an incremental improvement that we can add in. Just got to make sure that this isn't one of those things that's like super difficult to add in. Something about dates and times with software, it's just like it makes things way more complex than it should be. Cool. And then Lisa asked, around the feed, can you let us choose if we want the algorithmic option or the timestamp latest posted flow? Like technically we can. It's more of like what are we deprioritizing to allow that to happen. I won't forget you, Tamara. Thank you for the note. It's more of like, let me add this to the list and see kind of like how it measures out with sort of the other competing priorities that we have, and we can take a look. We want to avoid over engineering customization features and focus on like how are we continually driving value, even if every feature is not like picture perfect in terms of like how you want to use it for your business. We want to make sure that things overall add up to be greater than the sum of its parts. So we'll take a look and see from the roadmap if this is something that we can prioritize. All right. And then Tamara asked the ability to duplicate onboarding profiles. Yeah, we can take a look. That's a really simple and standard request that I feel like we should be able to do. So we can take a look at that. Cool. Okay. I think we've hit all the requests. You guys have also stayed 6 minutes extra with me, which I very, very, very much appreciate. You guys are fantastic. Thank you guys so much for staying on. And love the energy, love the hype as we go through all these questions. Amazing. Cool. So as we wrap up, I just want to say one more time, thank you guys again so much for showing up live. Like, I love doing these events because we get so much feedback, and it really helps us make those like 1 degree, 2 degree pivots to make sure that we are always staying on the right track and we are building the best community platform that we can possibly build to help you guys grow and scale your businesses to new heights. So thank you guys again so much for joining on live. We're going to go ahead and sign off now. Take care, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Bye, you guys. Thank you guys for showing up live.